There is an estimated number of 8.7 million species in the world. So, if I say there are countless living animals all around the world that you can't even fathom, you've gotta believe me. And today, we've gathered some of those interestingly weird, rare, and endangered creatures here for you to see and wonder if they really exist. Living proof of Chupacabra. After decades of myths, finally there's living proof of this vampire creature called Chupacabra. In September 2015, a couple from Ratcliffe, Texas found and captured this animal that at first didn't seem very recognizable until it was compared to the appearance of a legendary mythical animal called the Chupacabra. It was captured after many reports of livestock animals and pets being attacked by an unknown animal in the area. The discovery left many shocked, considering the actual existence of this vampire animal, especially since there were no previous sightings of this animal ever made before. Seems like not everything mysterious is fictional after all. Clouded leopards. Of all the feline species, clouded leopards are the closest that you can get to saber-toothed animals. The leopards are mostly tree dwellers that are midway between big cats and small cats, and not just size, but their own unique vocalizations. These midway felines have lengthy tails that help them balance while moving and hunting. The tail also makes them able to rotate ankles that help climb down tree trunks head first, while the hind paws assist them to dangle from high branches. Clouded leopards hunt squirrels, monkeys, and other similar-sized animals. Since these animals do not pose much danger to humans, poachers target them quite often. Fossa, Madagascar's top predator. With them having capabilities of more than a single animal, fossas are the largest of carnivores in the Madagascar jungle. Fossas may look like dogs, but are more related to mongoose, with their smaller yet flexible bodies, a monkey-like tail that is as long as its body, and retractable cat claws. These predators can jump between the trees just as the monkey can to hunt the biggest lemurs they can. With its hind legs that can turn 180 degrees, they can maneuver even through the weakest branch while hunting or mating. Since the females are hard to please, and that they only mate once a year along with habitat loss, this species is critically endangered. Axolotl salamander. Axolotl salamander is the closest you can get to a marine animal that looks like a fish but has the body of a lizard. Amongst all amphibious species, these have amazing regenerative abilities, where they can regrow limbs to even parts of their organs and brain. Scientists are trying to harness this healing ability for humans, but the species is listed as critically endangered due to its natural habitat being destroyed after Spanish settlers drained Lake Xochimilco and Lake Chalco after the conquest of the Aztec Empire, which is Mexico in present day. A team of biologists from the National Autonomous University of Mexico teamed up with local farmers to help rejuvenate this species in research labs to save it from extinction. Japanese raccoon dogs. These raccoon dogs are neither raccoons nor dogs, but a species that looks to be something in between them. Japanese tanukis are quite notorious, just as their raccoon relatives, in eating excessively to double their weight for hibernating at the end of fall. These raccoon dogs also carry a unique type of fur that can adapt well in the winter, which has caught the eye of it being a marketable product. This unique quality of their fur has been the leading cause that could pose a threat to a significant decline of species. Although the species reproduces enough, it cannot keep up with the exponential increase of hunting. Golden lion tamarin. Golden lion tamarins are one of the most distinct primate species and are part of Brazil's national symbol. Unlike other primates, tamarins are much smaller with longer fingers that help them jump and climb up vertical trees. Now, the downside is that they are the perfect bite-sized snack for predators. In the 1970s, only a few hundred of these species were left due to the pet trade and habitat loss, even though the tamarins have evolved a clever way to keep their population size steady in the face of predation by always giving birth to twins. With conservation efforts, this species was finally saved at numerous zoos and wildlife reserves in the host country. Hyena dog. A wild animal like this could be anything from a species of its own, a rare dog or a hyena, or perhaps even a hybrid of them both. Villagers on the outskirts of the Pakistani province of Baluchistan discovered this very unusual-looking wild creature shortly before it was captured by wildlife experts to study its nature. It had a hyena-like body with a whitish coat and stripes, but had a size like that of a regular pet dog. With the animal caught in the hilly areas, before it could be inspected and studied completely, the animal was released back into the wild over concerns raised by animal lovers of it getting extra stress. Prehistoric frog. Encountering a frog as huge as this would certainly feel like a scene from a Hollywood movie coming true. The deviled frog, or Beelzebufo, was a prehistoric frog which is believed to be the largest frog to have ever lived on the planet before it went extinct. According to the remains that scientists have found and measured, these beach ball-sized amphibians grew up to 16 inches in length and weighed about 10 pounds. These giant frogs were ambush predators that could reel in anything from a decent-sized tiger cub to a human toddler within seconds. Red-faced, hairless handsome. The best thing about this monkey species is that it's handsome despite being bald. Bald uakari are one of the most fascinating kinds of monkey species that have bright red faces, very short tails, and thick, long coats. This is a primate species of monkeys where females are able to give birth once in 2 years, which results in an extremely small population of its kind, especially since these monkeys stay on treetops most of the year until the dry season, mostly due to seasonal flooding. With very limited birth rates, seasonal behavior, along with hunting and deforestation, this species of monkeys is very vulnerable. Monster goat. Unlike other goats that follow their shepherd, this one doesn't seem like it would. In March of 2018, a Moroccan farmer found this huge, menacing-looking goat and purchased it in an effort to breed his livestock that looked almost as if it spawned straight from the lair of Satan. By the behavior and the looks of it, it surely seems to be quite super angry and frustrated. Albino orangutan. Of all the monkeys, orangutans are known to inhabit intelligence, behavior, and understanding similar to that of humans, but this one even has eyes similar to that of a human being. This one-of-a-kind albino orangutan was found in April 2017 at the Tangerang village in Indonesia's central Borneo province. The white-furred orangutan was discovered in a bad condition, as it was suffering from malnutrition, dehydration, and a parasitic infection. The local Orangutan Survival Foundation took custody over it and quarantined it in a dim-lit area due to sensitivity to sunlight. With thorough medical care and a diet plan, this female orangutan gradually started gaining weight back. A fundraising campaign was launched for it to thrive in an artificially created natural habitat. Red panda. Apart from the size, red pandas are much smaller and more adorable than an actual panda. In January 2018, Laos Customs were able to seize 6 red pandas after a smuggling attempt was foiled near the Chinese border. Free the Bears is an Australian NGO that came to the rescue of the red pandas that were found to be in a vulnerable condition. Most of the pandas were sick, while one of them was due to give birth. The red pandas were taken to a local housing facility for treatment, where the 2 cubs were born. These pandas are solitary and endangered creatures, making this bust not only the largest, but also making the conservation of species easier. Stellar sea lion. This species of sea lion sure does a great service to all other species of its kind by putting the fear of God into sharks. While out on a boating tour by the Galapagos Islands, tourists came across this wonderful encounter where a stellar sea lion was tossing a salmon shark like a rag doll before tearing it up to eat. With the shark being much smaller than itself, several other sharks nearby were attacked to an extent that one of them beached itself just to evade its feeding frenzy. This species of sea lions are considered to be the largest of their kind. They're nicknamed as grizzlies due to their aggressive nature. Sadly, the species is in danger of extinction, and we might not see them in the near future if they're not conserved properly. Tree kangaroo. Probably the rarest and most endangered kangaroo species, tree kangaroos look very similar to your usual kangaroos, except that the species are smaller, can climb, and move on trees. They look much like plush toys that eat leaves, stay camouflaged in the canopy. This young, healthy-looking tree kangaroo was found and safely transferred to Woodland Park Zoo as part of the conservation program to protect this species after an alarming drop in their numbers. Papua New Guinea's Huon Peninsula is the only place where they are typically found, their presence being very limited. Spotting one in the wild is a real jackpot. Zebra, horse, or giraffe. Initially, it may look like a horse wearing a zebra costume with a giraffe-like bodily structure, but it's actually a species of its own called the okapi. Okapi has morphed different traits from these animals, where the skin, like a zebra, helps it hide, and long ears to detect predators. Okapi are considered to be the closest living relatives to giraffes in terms of elongated tongue to pull leaves to eat, hair-covered horns on the top of their heads, and the manner of how they spread legs to take a drink. Since they live in the Congo's dense forests, it wasn't until the 20th century when they were first discovered, and since then are being conserved, where their population is sustained and births are properly monitored. Philippine eagle. Of all the eagles, this species is one of the biggest, baddest, and most family-oriented species. An eagle couple of this species work together as a team, where one of the eagles scans the area for prey while in the air, and the other scouts on the ground, passing through the forest looking for any potential prey hiding. This sends a fear frenzy among monkeys and other similarly sized animals. These eagles have long legs and wings much broader than other eagles, enabling them to hunt as far as 40 square miles. These birds lay only one egg every 2 years at the same spot for mating, laying eggs several times. Continued deforestation threatens the species' survival. Mary River turtle. By the looks of this turtle's mohawk, I certainly wouldn't be surprised if it also turns out to be a drummer. Mary River turtle, which is also known as punk turtle, is one of the most standout species of turtles that actually has hair on the top of its head in a certain hairstyle, and also that it breathes both in air and underwater through the butt. The tiny barbels on the chin also add to the punk look, but actually are used to feel around in the muck underneath. With not many of these turtles left either in the wild or in repopulation labs, scientists are trying hard to keep the species from going extinct. Bearded vulture. When it comes to bearded vultures, it's not how they look that's what's concerning, but rather their choice of having only bones on their diet. Bearded vultures are scavengers, just like any other species of vultures, but they don't prefer to feed onto the flesh of a carcass, and rather wait till other scavengers literally chew down to the bone. Once the bones are exposed, these vultures easily swallow bones as big as a lamb's femur, like snacks. Bigger and stronger parts of the bones are airlifted only to be dropped onto rocks from height, until the bones are shattered and the bone marrow is exposed. Its digestive system is full of powerful chemicals that can dissolve bones. Coconut crab. You wouldn't want to choose a beach full of these crabs to nap or sunbathe on, as these giant crabs could turn into your worst nightmare as they shatter your bones. Coconut crabs weigh up to 9 pounds and have an average leg span of 3 feet, which is strong enough to crush a coconut. In 2007, researchers placed a pig carcass on an island full of coconut crabs to experiment how lethal these crabs are while being recorded by a time-lapse camera. Within a week, the crabs, alongside with hermit crabs, chewed the carcass beyond even the bones. Upon searching old crab burrows, they even found human remains. Mountain chicken frog. A species of frog that may look quite horrifying, but is believed to have a meat that tastes like chicken. These frogs, although posing no danger to human beings, are on the brink of extinction after a deadly fungus swept through its habitat of Montserrat Island and resulted in a total devastation of its population. This video was taken at the Durrell Wildlife Conservation Trust, showing a mother frog that is feeding its offspring. Due to the lack of food, it lays unfertilized eggs for the young to feed on. In 2010, 50 of these frogs were moved to a secure location in an effort to save the species from total annihilation. Pink grasshoppers. Are grasshoppers rare? Not really. But this pink-shelled grasshopper will make you turn your head. That's right, this grasshopper is actually pink and was discovered in Louisiana. With a stunning rose-colored body, the pink katydid is one of the rarest insects in the world. But how did this grasshopper turn pink? And why aren't there more of them? Well, it turns out a rare genetic mutation causes the usual brown or green grasshoppers to be born pink. This condition is called erythrism and happens after a few generational skips. Sadly, these grasshoppers stick out like a sore thumb. It's difficult for them to blend in nature and hide from predators, and that's exactly why they're so rare. But who knows? Maybe you'll see a bright pink glimmer in your backyard too. Cockapoo. What do you get when you cross a parrot, an owl, and kryptonite? A cockapoo, of course. This vibrantly green bird is only found in New Zealand, but even the locals are unsure if they've ever seen one. This is because its stunning bright plume gives the cockapoo the perfect camouflage to hide behind leaves, and unlike most birds, it usually lives on the ground because it can't fly. The cockapoo isn't endangered, but it's still unbelievably exotic because of its unique features. It has only been photographed a few times, and it continues hiding from cameras. Now, I know you're tempted to pet it, and if you ever come across it, don't, because these little owlets are surprisingly strong and will bite off a finger if they feel threatened. Endangered Turtles Breeding Program. While most zoos capture animals from the wild to display them in public in cages, the Bronx Zoo rather practices to share endangered animals that are under breeding programs to keep them from extinction. A recording from June 2019 shows 5 new baby yellow-headed box turtles, also known as gold coin turtles, that were born. It is purported to have medicinal properties that can cure several common diseases like cancer. This led to a sharp population decline, so much so that they are now critically endangered species with less than 100 of them left in the wild. The zoo's breeding program is essential to save the species from extinction. Before we move any further, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you can keep watching our amazing content. Rare black rhino birthing. Of all the animals in the wild, rhinos, despite being huge, strong, and intimidating, are still vulnerable to poachers. Officials from the Taronga Western Plains Zoo in Dubbo released this recording showing the birth of a male critically endangered black rhino calf. Considering that this rhino species only has one calf in 3 to 4 years, and that there are less than 6,500 black rhinos remaining, their numbers are declining fast due to hunting and loss of habitat. This special birth is the result of an international research partnership in black rhino conservation. Sea lampreys. Running into an extremely enthusiastic parasitic fish such as this would surely be a scarier experience than running into an actual apex predator. Sea lampreys are a type of fish that have a body like eels, with no fins, and a mouth full of sharp suction cup-like teeth, positioned in concentric, circular rows. These parasitic creatures latch onto a host, only to puncture the body and feed by draining its blood and other bodily fluids, until the host succumbs to the bite. Salmon and lake trout are some of their preferred hosts, among other fish. Blue whale. As gigantic and magnificent as they are, it's hard to imagine that one day these ocean giants might not be with us. Due to the alarming level of human whaling activities, aside from the irresponsible disposal of fishing gear and rapidly deteriorating aquatic ecosystem, with these problems increasing by passage of every decade, only 10% of the species has survived and is now listed as an endangered species. Apart from dolphins, blue whales will often make friendly interactions with humans, even though they sometimes accidentally flip the boats with their massive bodies. But it's part of what makes them so appealing. Artificially bred porpoise. From the look of this porpoise, it almost seems as if it's genetically designed to always stay. Tau Tau is a specimen of the world's first artificially bred Yangtze finless porpoise, which was reported gliding through the water in the facility in Wuhan, Hubei Province, China, as it turned 18 years of age. To further increase the numbers of its kind, Tau Tau has participated in several breeding programs and is now a parent of a male and female Yangtze finless porpoise that are now the second generation of the species. California condor. The California condor is a type of vulture that depends on wild areas for it to survive. With an increasing level of deforestation and expansion of cities, the habitat of this vulture species severely dwindled, with many getting either electrocuted by power lines or by accidental swallowing projectiles of ammunition on the carcasses of animals. A total of 22 birds were left in 1982, when the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service made the call to capture the remaining birds and to start captive breeding to save the species from extinction. After over a decade of effort, an estimated 300 of these scavengers were reintroduced into the wild. Snow leopard. Snow leopards are like the mountain division when it comes to felines. Since these cats are some of the most elusive, researchers closely examined this female snow leopard that gave birth to 2 of her cubs and was bonding with them as they played around. These wild cats are perfectly equipped to thrive in extreme high-elevation habitats and are agile hunters that can leap as high as 15 meters in the air and hunt wild sheep and goats in the steep, rugged high mountains. With these mountain ghosts on the brink of extinction, the snow leopard family is closely monitored in their den in Mongolia in efforts to help the species thrive. Gharial crocodile. Although they're believed to be the oldest species of their own, seeing them hanging out with regular crocodiles makes them look like older versions of crocodiles. Gharial crocodiles are one of the oldest species of crocodiles to exist. Unlike other species of crocs, their jaws are quite narrow, but have interlocking teeth that help them bite, grip, and chew its prey with the razor-sharp teeth. Gharial crocs are measured to be from 2 to 6 meters in length and are found on the banks of rivers by the forests of Southeast Asian countries. These crocodiles are hard to find in the wild, as their population has significantly declined and is on the brink of extinction. Earth's rarest antelope. Of all the antelopes, Saola are the most rarely seen antelope, with the last one that was seen more than a decade ago. This footage that was taken in May 2012 shows the last Saola that was spotted by an unknown source. With the animal discovered and classified only 20 years ago, it is believed to be largely related to sheep, buffalo, and goats, but not much is known about its exact habitat or life cycles, as scientists have never seen them in the wild. Judging from a few other reports of similar sightings, such as the one in the video, this antelope is classified as very critically endangered, so much so that captive breeding won't be possible. Brown-headed spider monkeys. Most monkeys have 4 limbs, but this primate species uses its tail as an extra limb. Spider monkeys make use of their prehensile tail that not only makes their branch swinging easier, but also helps them stay high up in the tropical forest canopy. These monkeys are evolved to have 4 long fingers with no thumb, which may otherwise sprain while swinging. Their tail is powerful enough that it can hold the entire body weight, giving them the ability to hang by and wrestle with each other. Spider monkeys are nicknamed as their manner of swinging is much like that of spiders, and also, their canopy acrobats look effortless. With their numbers sharply falling, conservation efforts are being made. Endangered jaguars. The Mexican jaguar population has been vastly declining over the years due to an excess increase in illegal hunting and loss of habitat. This recording is one of many showing moments after 2 jaguar cubs that were born that could help rejuvenate endangered species. Conservationists and scientists established El Edén, which is a private nature reserve in Mexico that they've been using to track jaguar activity since 2005. The rewilding effort over the years has been noticed to be in fruition through constant activity monitoring in hopes these cats could avoid extinction. White giraffe. Seeing this giraffe, you'd either consider it to be an oddly new species of its kind, or ask an obvious question as to what sorcery is this? This giraffe is not a species of its own, but rather suffers from a very rare genetic condition called leucism that leads to the loss of its skin pigmentation. With the condition quite rare, this is the world's only known white giraffe, before two of its other family members. A female and a calf were put down by hunters and poachers for their hides in 2016 in Kenya. Local wildlife rangers have this lone white giraffe tracked with a GPS device to keep it safe from danger. Tasmanian tiger. This was one animal species that looked quite like a hybrid produced of a wolf and a tiger. A rare recording that was filmed in 1933 and uploaded onto the internet in September 2012 with colorized footage in 2021 shows the last known Tasmanian tiger that was held at Hobart Zoo. Numerous studies have revealed that the dingoes may have been the leading cause behind the extinction of Tasmanian tigers. Also, dingoes outcompeted with them by hunting in packs. Another study in 2013 revealed that intense human population growth with technological advances and the abrupt change in the climate during the period are also a few other major causes. These last two Tasmanian tigers died in captivity, with the species now extinct. Bullfrog. Most frogs either choose to use their poison to intimidate a predator or just run away, but this one prefers to use its size. A video captured in a wildlife reserve in South Africa shows a bullfrog, which is considered to be the biggest frog species in Africa, and is also known to be quite aggressive. It not only makes use of its huge body index as a way to stay its ground by intimidating predators, like this snake, away from the tadpoles, but the devoted father also looks after his young by keeping a watch over them and digs a channel to a new water source amidst evaporation. Albino dolphin. Dolphins are one of the friendliest marine animals to pop out from the ocean, so they aren't considered a rare sight despite their beautiful looks. But this dolphin made major headlines when it emerged from the water, all because of its snow-white body. Albino dolphins are incredibly rare, so when this one was spotted a couple of years back in the deep blue waves of Monterey Bay, there was bound to be noise. The dolphin was seen swimming with the rest of its gray-colored pals, happily waving onlookers goodbye. But it seems the dolphin had a lot more to say, because 2 years later, it made another appearance, but this time just off of Laguna Beach. Of course, we don't know for certain if it's the same dolphin, but considering how rare they are, it's possible they're one and the same. Vaquita. If you've ever been to Mexico, you might have seen this. Scratch that. The vaquita is so rare, it's only been seen a few times since its discovery back in the mid-90s. This kawaii creature is a special species of porpoise that's only found in Baja, Mexico, as far as we know. The vaquita was incredibly rare on its own, but after numerous poaching incidents, it's considered the rarest and least seen porpoise in the world. So imagine the joy naturalists and marine enthusiasts felt when they spotted one cruising along the shore. While this was a happy sight, it was bittersweet too, because their population is on a steady decline. So consider yourself lucky that you saw the vaquita, even if it's in a video. Blue ladybug. These cute and bubbly crawlies are occasionally seen near your flowers or in the backyard, but give them a bit of uniqueness, and they lose their distinct red coat. Now, there are a few cases where an albino ladybug has been seen, but now and then you'll see a small glint of blue flying across the garden, especially if you live in Australia. This is the steel blue ladybug, and although this might be the first time you're seeing this, it's an occasional sight in the land of the kangaroos. They're also exceptionally cute, which makes them even more lovable than before. This picture was taken in January 2023, somewhere in between a lake by the coast of North Carolina, showing a huge giraffe or dinosaur-like amphibious animal. Looks more like a species from marine reptiles order Plesiosaur. Many speculate that it could be anything from a rare species of a whale or some prehistoric era organism that may have somehow survived the dinosaur extinction. If you happen to know more about this thing, please do share it with us down in the comments. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.